Good evening and welcome to Indemand. I'm Trudy Kerr.
And I'm Jane Dennis. With an increased number of lead roles becoming available to women in film and television today, we ask what it's like to be a woman on the silver screen and a greater recognition for Maltese film industry.
Absolutely, and this evening we are joined by two household names on both the silver screen and on the small screen. TV producer, presenter and actress Clara Deuce, and also singer, actress and model Tizara Camilleri.
First up, we speak with Tizara.
Tez, the reason I laughed just then is before we started the show, you said to me, I'm not a model, I'm a singer.
It's true, I'm really not. I mean, I'm okay in front of the camera. When I've got to take photos and stuff, it's fine. But I don't know. I would never call myself a model, you know.
Model.
No, it's true.
We're distracted by those
really
beautiful pictures of you that have just come out.
But they're
amazing.
edited. They're really not like. It's not. I don't look like that.
You're looking fabulous.
Ladies and gentlemen, go and find out on Facebook because Tizara's got some beautiful pictures up there.
Because I've got a good photographer taking them, and you know they edit here and there. But I mean, I don't look like that.
The beautiful of Photoshop. Listen, but we know that you've worked on film, TV and in the theatre.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Most recently, we've seen you on film. But out of all of those, which is your favourite?
Hands down, theatre.
Really?
It's like, I don't even have to think about it. It's
Why?
the easiest question in the world. I don't know, there's something about having the lights on your face and the immediate response of the audience. And primarily, I'm a singer before I'm an actress, so there's something about actually belting a note, you know, and feeling the audience go, oh my God, she can actually sing. Oh my God, it's actually, you know, it's actually pitch perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I like the way you went belting a note and getting the
because I
audience.
don't have a very operatic or classical voice. My voice is very belty, kind of. That's the funny thing, though. Not a lot of people know me as a singer because most of the things I've done with regards to singing is actually stage and theatre. My acting experience, that's where TV comes into it. But it's really funny. They're like two completely different worlds. It's like actress means TV and singer equals theatre.
Okay.
But whereas I do lots of musicals, so obviously lots of acting goes into that as well because you're taking on a role in the musical.
So which came first? Were you a singer first?
I was actually a dancer. I don't know how that happened, but I was actually a dancer. Terrible. 3 right 3, not even 2, 3. And yes, I know. And I started with ballet. It actually taught me a bit how to stand, sit, carry myself, you know, touch my toes. But I wasn't very, not I wasn't very good. I was all right. I just didn't feel like I excelled at it. And I always said, okay, I love the stage. I love the fact that, you know, we're backstage, we're doing hair and makeup. I love going on stage, but I'm really not feeling. Okay, I'm getting, like now I know the feeling because I've actually experienced it, but I knew it wasn't it. So I begged my mom. I told her, Mom, please, let's start. Send me to a school where I can practice all 3. And she said, forget it. She told me, your grades are terrible. You're certainly not going anywhere until you at least pass your maths. And as I was bad at maths, I'm not even joking. And I really, really studied, and I got a 50. I remember, a 50 was like, great for me.
That's right, okay.
And I passed, so technically, you know, she had to send me, and she did. And I started training at this musical theatre school in Malta.
Okay.
And I started performing the 3 arts.
And you were how old at this point?
And I was about 12, 13, I would say. So I had 6 years of ballet. With ballet, I did a little bit of jazz and hip-hop as well, but again, I tried it didn't really fit. And then I took that with me onto musical theatre.
Okay.
And I started doing some exams in individual acting as well as group theatre. And then I had a tutor for singing. I had Ludwig Galia, and he actually said, listen, I don't know if anybody told you, but you're a singer. And I'm like, what?
Drop the dancing.
No, that's what he told me. He's like, listen, he's like, you actually have a voice. Like, I know you talk a lot and you're always blabbing on. He said, but put your mouth to good use, kind of, and sing.
Did he actually use the word blabbing on?
Everyone does. Everyone knows that when they meet me. They know it's
so
okay.
on that point then, just to interject though, before you blab on, but we're loving it, of course. You studied theatre, but now you're studying to be a midwife as well?
Yes, I hope, actually. That's the funny thing. I think lots of people are getting the story a little bit wrong on the way. So after doing my musical theatre stuff, I went on to studying it at university. My BA is in English and theatre studies. And I worked for 2 years at the Times, and I enjoyed it, but I don't know what happened. Like a switch went off, and I said, oh my God, midlife crisis. I don't want to be stuck in an office. I need to be out and about with people.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Okay, not teen life, 20 life crisis. I don't know, I have to come up with a new word.
Some crisis.
Some kind of crisis.
Yes.
And I said, okay, I was 23 back then, last year, and I said, okay, this is something I've always wanted to do. And I've tried working in an office, I didn't like it. I tried working in a school, I didn't like it. I'm going to try a hospital, and if I don't like it, I'll try again. So
what you're saying is that it can't be a career. Are you saying that being an actor can't be a career?
I don't think so, locally.
Something?
Well, I never really wanted to pursue it. I mean, friends of mine did. They moved abroad, and then they came back here. Now they teach full-time. But you can't exactly do...
But they teach what?
Drama.
But then again, that's not being an
I don't.
Actress.
There's an argument. I mean, people would say you can kind of. I don't think so.
No.
Apart from the fact that I wouldn't want to myself because I don't want it to be my bread and butter. I don't want to take on any role just for the fact that I've got to pay my bills at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, okay, for example, people approached me for this coming October, and there was nothing that I really said, yes, this is... So I said no to everything. And until something else comes along, I'll just keep saying no.
So you see it,
wow,
that is interesting because I think a lot of people don't see it like that. They see it as a career and a vocation and something that they need to do.
Well, I don't know. But there would be the other people, friends of mine, who would argue differently and would say, you know, it's what I want to do. I don't want to do anything else, so I'm just going to keep pursuing it. I mean, there was a period where I said, okay, I'm going to graduate and then I'm going to go abroad and I'm going to hit the West End, you know, until I said, no, it's not what I want.
No, it's not.
I like the fact that this is something, that this is just another sides to my character. There are so many other things I'd like to do. I want to be a midwife, you know, full time.
So I'm interested in this. So Ill Click has been on for 3 years now.
We did 3 seasons.
Part of the fabric of Maltese society.
Yes.
And I'm just imagining the time where somebody's having a baby and you're there helping out.
Especially if they know my character on ClickUp, because she's quite well, she's very similar to how I am.
Do you not think that would be quite distracting for a woman in labour?
I often think about it. Like, I often say, oh my, so they're probably going to be like, oh my God, Julia's going to give birth to my baby, crap.
But this, because we've actually chatted before, and I want to really touch on this again. When I asked you about your character, Julia, in Ill Clicker, now this is obviously the biggest role that you've had. Yeah. And how long was Ill Clicker? Was 3 years?
Roughly, yes, about 2 years and a half.
And then there was the film.
We closed it off with the film.
Do people, when they see you in the street, do they think that you are that
all
character?
The time. People don't know my name is Tezara. I'm serious. Like, I notice because when I'm introduced, like, I haven't appeared as a face yet. When I'm introduced and they say Tezara Camilleri, there's no reaction. The second I come on, it's like, oh, it's Julia. Yeah. It's like, hello, I'm me. I'm Tez.
So does that mean people are over familiar with you because
as
they
Julia, but it's quite funny. I need to rebrand myself, I think.
This is part of your rebranding. This is the start of your emergence into your midwifery.
Even the whole singing thing. You're a singer as well, yes. I'm actually a singer, not even an actress, but, you know, it's besides that point. And
do you think that label's going to be hard to shake then, being Julia?
I don't know. I've never actually come out. Well, I did a show called Sfida around 4 years ago. It's kind of, I would say, very similar to X Factor, well, the UK thing. In Italy, we have Amici, which is quite similar to... Sfida was basically Amici. And I actually went in as a singer, and I did very well, but I moved away from TV because, again, I preferred stage, so I did lots of stage and I was kind of forgotten as well. You see, if you don't keep yourself in TV, even if you do just a little bit of ads here and there, you're just completely forgotten. And I didn't come back to TV up until, what, 3 years later, when I came on as an actress with short hair. And, you know, I was literally a new person. And it was like, very rarely, but sometimes it would happen, people would tell me, you're that girl from Sfida. Yes, but it's silly things, such as a change in hair. You know, I had long curly hair.
For sure.
And when I was doing Sfida, and when I came on with Click, I had short hair, and I had really found myself as a person, so that really translated onto the screen. And
do you think you'll be disappointed when if you moved into kind of a more normal role, more normal career that takes you away from the limelight?
I don't think it ever will.
No.
I don't think I'll ever. I mean, as I'm telling you, I've got nothing. I have nothing in the pipelines for October, and every week I've got something happening. Anyway, I've got interviews here, and it's fun. I love it, and I'm climbing Kilimanjaro in December, so lots of media is coming to me with that because they're interested in the story. So I don't really think. I think if you do something and you do it well and you leave an impact, there are going to be lots of ripple effects, good, positive ripple effects that come with it. I'm doing a campaign for breast cancer. I mean, there are so many things. Just because I appeared in a role, one role as Julia, I'd rather do one and do it well, and I love it. Which is why I saw it through till the end. I did the 3 seasons and the film, because there was a love I created in this character. I'm not going to just take on a role because I want to be on TV. That's me. There are people who do it. They would say, I'd rather do it and be on TV than not do it and risk being forgotten.
And I really love your attitude. You're not hungry to be on TV.
No,
you want the right
I'm
role.
sure opportunities will come.
We are. I would say, it's so good talking to you. It's always great talking to you. The time has flown by. We are going to take a very short break, and then we're going to be joined by Claire, and then we'll have a little chat about the film making a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, take a break, go and make yourself a coffee, glass of wine. Come back and join us in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to In Demand, where we've been joined by the wonderful Clara Juice. Claire, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Thank you. Lovely to see you. Lovely to be here. She was wonderful.
Wasn't she lovely?
I loved her interview. Yes.
Listen, Claire, we have tried to book you on the show before. You couldn't make it because you were abroad promoting Simshar.
We checked.
Yes.
Because you were telling fibs.
We stalked you.
No, I knew that was going to be a reason which you will really understand. Because obviously I pulled out after having had the date written down in the diary for a long time.
No, that's fine. But we're very, very pleased to have you on the show this evening.
Thank you.
But listen, so tell us, what is happening with Simshar? Because I also know that you're off to Australia. So where are you at with Simshar? What's happened?
Well, I'm actually doing really the minimum of what I could be doing, because Rebecca, the director, is going to be on the road, has been on the road already for about a month, and she will be until the end of August for sure with the promotion of the film. It's screening in 5 continents. She went to Zanzibar for the International Film Festival over there. She was in Brussels. We were in Lisbon together, in Portugal. She's off to some Scandinavian countries soon. So there's a lot going on. She actually, it's all credit to her, not to me, you know, that she's been able to do so many connections and networking that the film has actually taken off and is being viewed by international audiences.
And we managed to get her on the show here just before she was about to go into that massive push. And we're very lucky and had a really nice show with her as well.
Yeah, but so on that subject, exactly, working with and thinking about women on the silver screen, was it interesting to work for a female director or
Oh, certainly. I saw, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not very much into the female-male issues. I like to work with everybody, and I treat everybody as people, whether they are men or women. But their attitude then defines the qualities they bring with them on the job, then defines what kind of people they are. And, well, it helped, obviously, that Rebecca, being the director of this film, was very, very sensitive from the beginning, even with us as actors, when we were studying our emotions and what we were going to bring on the screen. I think that perception and that depth brought by a female director, and obviously then translated to us as actors for us to be able to bring it out on screen, is very special. However, I've seen her also in the role that you would define as male, that of directing and being in control of every single department, and you know, beautifully balanced. So I really take my hats off to her. It was amazing for me as an actress to be dealt with such cards, you know, and having been directed by her was very good, very wonderful.
And I've heard as well that, when we spoke to Rebecca about this as well, that you could, because she also wrote Simshar, or co-wrote Simshar, that you can feel some of the elements because it's been written by a woman. And you just mentioned that she brought out that emotion. Do you think that that would be the same? Would you expect that the same if you had a male director?
To be honest, what I also found with Rebecca is that she was very humble with us wanting to bring a few things of our own, whether it was a male or a female actor, and she was very receptive to that and took that on board. Sometimes, and I don't mean to come across bad with this, but sometimes I feel that males are more of a prima donna.
Really?
In this sector than women are. They tend to be a little bit, you know, prouder and want to stick to their... Again, I'm not generalizing and I don't want to be misunderstood, but I've often found that, you know, male are a little bit less flexible.
We looked at the statistics with female directors when we had Rebecca on, and we were saying that there's something like... Well, she updated me with the figures because I said I'm always a nerd. I always come up with the statistics. We thought it was 2% of directors were female, but it's actually 0.1% now, currently. Yeah. So there is a huge imbalance, and that's why we just wondered whether it was a positive experience.
In fact, even if you look at the Academy Awards that have been going on for ages, the first female director who ever won a Best Director award was in 2010. Yes. Can you believe that?
A war film.
Yeah, can you believe that? It's just a few years ago. So
That's
I think,
incredible.
You know, when it comes to female directors, we've only just started.
So do you have any positive role models then, thinking about directors or inspiration, either as actors or film directors for you specifically in the film industry?
I was always a big fan of Pedro Almodovar, and I loved his film because perhaps, and I didn't know it then, but I perhaps know it now, because of the love and the passion he had in the female role and what he managed to bring out from his actresses.
Can I be a bit ignorant and ask what the film is?
Oh, there are. He's a Spanish director, and there are various films. His most perhaps notable recently was Volver, where Penelope Cruz starred. And again, her role over there, what he managed to do with her as an actress, is different from what you see her portraying in other American movies. So I tend to go a little bit for the Mediterranean, the passionate, the you know, the ones where you express yourself in a more colourful way.
Oh, very nicely put. I love that.
Yes. So I like, for example, recently, when someone watched Simshar, they brought to my knowledge this actress called Anna Magnani, who I never heard of, but they said I reminded them of her. And I looked her up, and she was this Italian actress who actually passed away 2 years before I was born. So we're talking, she's an actress of the 50s. But the way she acted was very raw, and also very, you know, she was also very voluptuous in her expression on the screen. And I think I tend to want to be and play those roles more than others, you know?
Further away from the kind of Hollywood image then that we're kind of led to aspire to in terms of acting.
In fact, like Tez was saying, I tend to pick and choose very much, and I'm lucky to be in that stage where I want to do that. I'm not hungry to become any Hollywood actress or... Not at all. I just want to do something that is significant of who I am as an actress. And if it is one role in 5 years, so be it.
You don't often find somebody with the same frame of mind, though. When I have a conversation, it's normally one-sided, where I'm like, hello, can someone agree with me, please? It's refreshing, actually.
It was very nice to hear her say that, because she's very young. So, you know, it's like you tend to be more hungry when you're younger than when you've achieved certain things in your life holistically as well.
Because somebody said to me, in fact, when we started doing TV, that TV is very, very addictive. and
I
it
never really got
can
addicted
be.
to it.
I mean,
No.
obviously not for me because I'm way past that sort of thing. But a lot of it, you can see how a lot of people have. And again, as you said, being able to be in a position to pick and choose what you want to do and be happy and satisfied with what you do,
Yes.
rather than the fact that that is the only income that you have,
Yes.
and you've got to drive to that.
Exactly.
Well, to be honest with you, in my case, it's been non-stop for almost 20 years. Year in, year out, I had a TV project which I either produced or invented, but for sure, hands down, and I say this with all humility, I have never done it because I wanted to be on TV. I have done it because it was something that was feeding my creativity, and I was moving on from one project to another and evolving as a human being as I was inventing the project. So instead of working in an office or in any other job, I made this my job, my career. But not because I want to be on television. I mean, I would love to have more time to do other things, because the demands that a TV program demands of you is sometimes leaves you breathless, and not enough time is left to do other things, you know? So I would take a year off, more than 1 year off, to do other things. But then, for example, at the moment, I'm doing a project which I love so much that it's like, you know, with the other girls, you've been on the show, you know about it.
Absolutely.
So it's such a pleasure that I don't want to kick it in the face, you know, and say, I'm
Now,
moving on.
You mentioned something just then. You talked about commitment. You talked about TV being a huge commitment. Now, you're also a mum and a wife. And that obviously has a large role in your life too. I've heard that doing a film, and we'll, I guess, we'll talk about this later as well, but actually doing a film is a different kind of commitment to a TV show. TV show, you know it's going to be every week, you know when you're going to do it. With a film, you have to commit yourself wholeheartedly. Is that true? And if so, how did you manage that?
Well, it was amazing because I had actually just given birth. My son was 5 months when the filming schedule started. But
Good grief.
yes, having said that, you can forget it if you don't have a supportive husband or supportive family or partner or network around you that are not going to give you a hard time because you're doing something like this, and you decide to take, not you decide, but the schedule demands that you take 30 days out of your normal routine, including television, and go for this.
Of course.
So forget it, you cannot do it without a support system, especially if you are a devoted mom, you know.
Do you think the same thing is true for a male actor? So a male actor had a baby 5 months ago, and he's offered a film role that just needs that kind of commitment.
He doesn't need to have such management and such organization. You know, because that usually falls on the mother to organize the meals and the clothes and what's happening. And I remember being on set and my son was sick and I was like, my guts were out. And, you know, I'm constantly needing to take the decision, doctor and this and what medicine. And, you know, it was very...
And you're on set.
Very heart-wrenching.
Yes.
You know, but it's done because the people that you're surrounded with actually love you and support you. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Listen, we want to hear an awful lot more from you, ladies, and we want to hear from you both together. And we're going to come back in just a few minutes, but we do have to take a break. I'm enjoying this show so much.
Don't go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Go make that cup of tea or whatever you're going to do, but be back here in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to In Demand, where we have the wonderful Claire and Tez. It's great to see you both, and thank you for sharing your experiences of film and television. Not something many of us get to talk about or experience, so thanks very much.
You're
Ladies,
welcome. Thank you.
There's something I want to talk about. It's generally thought of that you get to 40 in the film industry and you're past it, that the roles dry up. It's well documented that you get to a certain age.
I'm 50 now, yes.
Yes.
Shut up.
So, and And men seem to go on
This
forever.
this question is for me. It's not for you. Okay?
Well, it might come your way, but it's worth thinking
Tess
about.
is going to be older at some point.
One day. So men seem to go on forever. You know, Harrison Ford gets a lead role and he's about 105 now, and he has a wife who's in her 20s, but nobody bats an eyelid. This is all normal. Is it something you consider when you think about your career in
Well, you
film
see,
and
I
television?
have learned to not focus on the things that I don't want present in my life.
Harrison Ford.
No, so what you've just said, went in through one ear and out the other.
Hey.
No. In truth, yes, if you look at those things and focus on that and you fight it and you want to mark your point and all this, of course, you can argue that. But then there are other success stories, Meryl Streep, for example.
Maggie Smith.
You know?
She's like my go-to person.
Judi
Judi
Dench.
Dench.
Helen Mirren.
Whatever her name
Still
is.
acting.
Helen Mirren. I mean,
Helen Mirren, that's what
all these actresses are just wonderful, and they're bringing on screen something unique that perhaps has not been there in the past years.
Do you think it's changing? Do you think that
I
the kind of the lead role
I think so.
for women?
I mean, look at me.
I'm looking at you, looking beautiful.
No, as in, I often say to myself, perhaps, that everything I've done in the past was actually to lend me this role of Simshar, and I did that in my late 30s.
That's
so,
perfect.
To even think that that was a role that I was given and it was the pinnacle of my career at late 30s is great. For me, it feels like it's just beginning, even in the film aspect, because I'm seeing more and more what people want to see on the screen are real, raw performances, and that sometimes can be brought because of an experience, a personal experience of someone.
That lends you the
And
role.
Exactly.
And Tess just mentioned, you mentioned a number of people, but also mentioned Judi Dench. Now we said, I love her. And interestingly enough, earlier in her career, she was a sitcom actress.
Yeah.
And now, in her 70s and 80s, she has
moved on
become
to,
this incredible actress. So I'm guessing for
Actually,
everybody...
she was in the Royal Shakespeare Company. That's how she
Yes.
trained. So she was originally a high-performing actress and did a lot of sitcom because she couldn't get the serious parts because there were a lack of them serious roles for women. But we feel that's changing now, don't
But
Yes.
I think what all these actresses have in common now, of course I can't generalise, and I've never actually sat down next to Judi Dench, having a cup of tea and actually got this out of her. But this is what I feel. Whenever I see them on camera, they've got this passion. Let's not deny it. It's like I can't imagine Judi Dench anywhere else. I can't imagine her making toast for
Being a
her
midwife.
husband, or, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's where she's meant to be, and I feel that
That's
she was
true.
wise in her choices, and that's why you see Judi Dench still on screen. You don't see, I don't know, any other actress. Not everybody makes it all the way till the end because they're wise in their choices.
This is a really good point, isn't it? Because before we were saying that you have to diversify and do the things that you want to do and choose the right projects. But I think with those women, they had to take whatever was available in order to enhance their career and get to that goal and to become as successful as they are.
But all that experience, obviously, I mean, she speaks perfect English. Of course, she's British, but
She's got a beautiful speaking voice.
And of course, the Shakespearean training she had, of course, lent her. At this point, I'm trying to convince myself, okay, why did I read for my BA? Give me a reason, Lord, give me a reason. What has that got to do with the BSc in midwifery I'm hoping to do? But I know that at some point there's going to be something that I'm going to pull out of my hat that I've learned from my BA, that I've learned through my theatre experience, that I'm going to say, listen, I can't handle this mom. She's freaking me out, but I'm an actress. I can do this. Woman, breathe. We're gonna pull this baby out. Because it's true. In reality, every life experience lends itself somehow. I mean, I'm reasoning the way I'm reasoning, maybe a little bit wiser than a normal 24-year-old.
I was thinking, I hadn't worked that one when I was 24, that's for sure.
But I really do feel that, I mean, I feel it. I feel the character when I first played her in the series, the first series, the second series, the third series. When I played her in the film, I was with a different guy. I had already graduated, I had changed. And I see the character reflecting the way I was, and I could tell when I see it, I say, I was there at that time. I reasoned that way, and people wouldn't know it, but I would, and friends of mine would actually say, that time was that time. Yes, I know it showed a little bit. It's okay. The next episode's better. It's fine. Keep watching.
It's good that you know, nowadays you see people who are reasoning in a way that you know, you want to evolve as a human being before you actually think, I want to evolve in front of the camera, taking on everything. And people are investing in themselves in all levels, in their education, in their family life, in their, you know, and that's not putting all your eggs in one basket, because some people still are out there after 20 years of saying, I'm an actor, who are actually jobless. And then, of course, they're going to be in a desperate stage where they take on any role that comes their way.
No,
but
I don't want to be in that situation.
Not even I, not even I.
Do you think children these days, I mean, I look at my daughter's 11 and my son's 8, and I look at them, and there's lots of television programmes, certainly in the UK, which are about being famous, so the big brother mentality.
Gosh.
So it's more about the fame rather than the content of what they're actually delivering, or a career ambition. So you were saying there that people don't want to be famous, but I feel that there's a generation that
yes,
to be
that's
famous.
the one coming up, whereas I think we are the last of our generation.
And
really.
I'm like one of the little...
Yes, well done.
Yes, it's
well
true.
done,
I was
good girl.
wait. You didn't give me a chance to finish. I was actually surprised that someone in her 20s is reasoning this way, and there needs to be more of her than there is of the nowadays 11, 12-year-olds who think that becoming famous is all, you know, the reason, the reason why we're living.
And that's
because
Generation
that
Y,
is,
isn't it?
yeah, that is what we are feeding them. So the more that there are of us, you know, being advocates of this, I'm very much in favour of drama being integrated into schools.
Yes, I'm very happy that's actually happening.
Because the skills that drama gives you in life can be applied for anything, for going on a job interview, for managing your
confidence.
You know. Exactly.
My God, sometimes I speak to people and they're hiding, but I'm like, hello, speak. You're a person. You deserve to say what you have to say. It's quite funny.
I love you.
No, it's true. I wish I could sometimes just get someone and say, has anyone ever told you that what you have to say is actually valuable, that your opinion can actually contribute in some way? I swear, I've met so many people who, I don't know, they haven't got the self-confidence. Now, that is not to say that I don't have my moments where I feel like I'm a, let's not invent a word, but, you know, just because I'm a confident person doesn't mean I'm not self-conscious sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, there's a fine line, and people may automatically think I'm always this confident person. It's not the case. Half the time I'm freaking out in my head saying, oh my God, is this gonna work? And I don't know, but I'm a risk taker and I take it. Lots of people, my age, older, younger, drama really gives you skills that I don't think lots of people identify with.
Of course.
Public speaking, I just can't stress that enough. The fact that, I don't know, you've got the confidence to go up to a friend and say, listen, we have this problem, let's solve it. It gives you this, I can do it. If I can't do it, at least I'm going to try kind of attitude.
What we must be careful of when we are passing on these drama skills is not to confuse drama with acting.
Exactly.
You know, out of a class of 20, you'll be lucky if you say one will pursue and become an actor. It's not the point. The point is not to become an actor or an actress. We're all acting in our real life, so you're going to apply those skills
anyway,
whatever you do.
That's it.
You know? And it's very, very important that we stress to our children and to the kids growing up that, you know, acting is not just about what they have in mind, the final product in front of a camera. There's a lot that goes along the way, and there are other things that one can explore. You were mentioning dancing and performing and singing.
All the different aspects that even further dissects itself
Yes,
into.
so, you know, it's not about being famous and
God, no.
certainly not about being
I
rich.
really find it funny when people approach me and say, oh, because you're a multi-celebrity, and I just stop them right there and say, ha ha ha, you're hilarious. I ain't no celebrity, honey. I'll help you out, no problem, because I'm a public person, I guess, but who isn't a public person? I mean, I don't understand this. It's quite funny.
In fact, I stopped telling people when I'm abroad ages ago, when they ask me what I do. Abroad, I say I'm either a teacher, I invent a profession. I never say I'm an actress because the reaction is just too much.
Yes.
And they don't understand that in Malta, you know, we all know each other and there's no big deal about meeting me at the grocer or in Valletta or waiting in the queue in the bank. You know, the perception of people abroad about being actors
is Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
And
it's
really not
really
like that
interesting.
here.
And we asked Tez just at the beginning, when she was talking very fast, we asked Tez, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Have you been ever tempted to go abroad to act or to be in a film or so on? Has that ever, because the market here, I mean, well, I guess you've actually proven that it isn't a confined market because you're doing Simshar, which is now going abroad. But has that ever been a pull? You sort of think,
well, when
wow,
I was
maybe
in
I'll...
drama school, when I was like 18 years old and we were at Imtada, and those days it was the Manuel Theatre of Academy Arts. Obviously, Malta wasn't in the EU, so we were treated as... I had looked into going to theatre schools, but the fees were enormous.
They still are.
And,
that was one
you
of
know,
the reasons.
at 18, I was in a family of 4 other siblings, and there was no way that my father could afford to pay 20 or 25,000, you know, to put me up in a school and accommodation and all these things. So it was really a bit of a more difficult than it is nowadays, I must say. So perhaps that's why young people are venturing more now, because for me it was different then. As I was growing up, and now even more so, I thank my lucky stars I didn't go.
It's true. It's
because
kind of a blessing
because the stuff I managed to achieve in Malta, I don't think I would have managed to achieve.
But you don't feel like
elsewhere.
you want to go and get the roles, and by being an actress that you have to go off the island to get
Let me
them.
tell you this little thing that one guy told me once. He came from Hollywood and he saw me host an event, a business event, which has got nothing to do with acting. But he took a liking to me and he kept on coming up after each time I present something, and he was just, you're so good, you should be in Hollywood and all this. And I'm like, after, you know, so many times of these 2 days that I was presenting, I said, listen, look at the lifestyle I have here. Do you think I actually want to be in Hollywood?
I love it here.
I really
I do.
mean it. We can do so many things in a day. We can go to the beach, we can visit our parents, we can work, we can then go home, get changed, catch a flight and like be at the airport in half an hour, be somewhere.
We chose to be here. So
I mean, I don't
There
think...
was a period, I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you, so my experience with this whole, should I go abroad?
She says a little bit, not a lot.
No,
a little bit younger than me.
Because it's true, I mean, when I had just graduated, and my BA is in theatre, so I said possibly doing a master's abroad, because there aren't many MAs here, which I wanted a practical, very hands-on kind of master's. And I remember going, I flew to the UK and I went to a couple of university interviews, and I was just like, I love this, I really love theatre, but I don't know how much I want to be with an agent where they're like, okay, audition in 20 minutes, go. And I have to be like, okay, so I'm going to be on this show, which is going to get me, what, 200 sterling, and then I'm going to be on that show. And it's just going to be, I know, I'm going to be on a train one time, I'm going to tell myself, what the hell am I doing? I'm existing. I'm not living.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd rather. I really don't care where I perform. I really don't. It could be in my bathroom with the 4 walls and my mirror. I don't care as long as I'm doing it.
A small audience.
Yes.
I swear, I mean, I would love for the audience to get bigger and bigger each time, because with that, you know, more experience. I'm experiencing
exactly. This doesn't go to say that if, for example, I am offered a role
abroad,
I'm not going to take it.
Good.
Of course
I am.
Quote you on that, obviously.
No, of course I am.
But
but
on
it has
that
to
point,
fit. It has to fit.
Yeah.
with everything
On that
else that's
point,
going on
Claire,
in my life, you know?
Are there enough roles? Last year, apparently, only 12% of lead roles
given
were
to
written for women. So that means that, you know, still
See,
88%.
which goes to show, why should I be focused so much on that when there's so much else going on in my life?
Why do you think that there's so little lead
I
parts
don't know.
being written for women?
Yeah.
I can't even argue that. I don't know.
Because cinema goers can't be more men than women.
But having said that, I mean, are you quoting American films? Because
Global films.
Because let's not forget that there are, you know, again, even in films, it's not just one category of films that are box office hits, which make it to our cinema, that are worth
exactly, there are
watching or
watching.
So many brilliant. In Lisbon, we saw a few really great films that are foreign language films that will never make it to the big screen, and I don't, you know, see them being shown to masses of people, and yet they are extremely powerful. I mean, I was amazed at the audience that watched Simshar, and because I was there, how they reacted to me, they made me feel like I was Meryl Streep.
Wonderful.
You know what I mean? So, for me, that's as satisfying as if winning the Oscar and going up to receive the statue.
So ideally for your situations, and again, I love the fact that you have both said that you want to choose, you're in a position and want to choose something that you can do. Ideally, I'm seeing that perhaps more like Simshar, more films that are filmed here,
Ideally, yes.
well, for you guys would be exactly what you want.
Are those kind of small budget foreign films? I used to watch them all the time when I lived in London. I didn't watch anything unless it had a subtitle. But are they available here?
They're going to be the foreign films. Sorry, not the foreign films. The small budget films are going to be on the increase big time.
Super, that's good to hear.
In the whole, this is coming from, you know, the Americas, kind of say, because, you know, we're tending in filmmaking. I was having a discussion with Rebecca, and it was lovely because she was telling me this news, and apparently even the big production houses would prefer to have, you know, budgets between 5 to 20 million for a film, as opposed to the 100 million, 200 million and box office hits, which means there are going to be 20 or 30 produced films as opposed to that one massive.
Exactly.
Great.
So with them, I think, will come more roles for us.
And I am so glad to hear that, and I really do. I think both of us would love to see you more on the big screen, and thank you very much. We could sit here and chat all night, but unfortunately we've come to the end of the show.
Thank you.
We'll keep going. Got nice wine. But I do wish, we wish both of you, I wish you the very, very best success for you and Rebecca with Simshar. And I'm telling you, Tez, we want to see you in something, you know, big on the screen as well, and wish you all the best. You've just had your exams a couple of weeks ago.
I have my last one. Oh, yes, and I'm fine then after that.
Okay, perfect. Brilliant. And wishing you all the very best with that as well.
Yes, well done, thank you. Unfortunately, this is the last episode in Demand. We've had a wonderful time speaking to some fantastic Maltese women. But the great news is there's many more women to speak to, so we'll be back in the autumn to speak to some then.
Absolutely. They've given us a season 2. Hooray!
Hooray.
But in the meantime, if you want to hear more about what these ladies are doing, more about Simshar, more of what Claire's doing, what Tez is doing, go onto our Facebook page, facebook.com/InDemandTV Malta. And there you can also see where we're keeping in touch with you over the summer, and we'll also be letting you know when we are starting again in the autumn. Join us then when we'll be having, as Jana said, some other amazing guests. We've had such a wonderful, wonderful time.
We're not finished yet.
We are not done
We're not finished yet. So this has been In Demand. Have a fantastic summer, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the autumn.
Good night.